I'll start it off a little bit down because you know how I like my documentaries. Yeah, I might have mentioned that I started watching this a while back, but I finished the Ken Burns PBS documentary, "The U.S. and the Holocaust," and holy cow, wow! I mean, you forget what happened in this society of ours, and I'm watching this thing, and it was so sad. Everybody knows what the Holocaust was all about, but Burns goes so in depth with every detail, on how it all set up, how it was made to happen, how the U.S. actually, frankly, kind of turned their back a little bit on it until they had to jump in. Very well done. If you're into history and you want to see what happened, what really happened during the Holocaust, and how it even kind of ties into what's going on today, because I don't want to get all dramatic, and you guys know how I've made comments about, here I am 66 years old and I don't know if I've ever seen what's going on out there in the world. But you look back to World War II and all that happened with Japan and Germany, and now you look at, well, you got Russia and you got North Korea. It's scary. And what do they say? I mean, if you don't learn from history, you're not learning anything. And we're just set up right now. It scares the hell out of me. I know you guys are younger, but I sit back and look at how things are going in the world, just reflecting back on this, 3-part documentary on the Holocaust. It's scary.
I appreciate you making that statement. I'm just going to keep the vibes high. I mean, with the Lions' recent draft, I'm on the brink. So listen, so it's funny you say that about Ken Burns. I literally had a conversation with my coworker who was telling me, like, I had never seen any Ken Burns documentaries, never seen one. Mm-hmm. And he was telling me, like, how I need to watch this baseball Ken Burns baseball documentary.
Oh, man.
So it's very, I feel very like I need to just go stop what I'm doing and go watch this documentary, because Ken Burns just got mentioned to me 2 hours ago. You bring it up. And I mean, U.S. Holocaust. I love World War II, man. Sounds like the next thing I'm going to watch. Honestly, it might have a review for you next week.
It is depressing. I mean, obviously depressing.
I was going to say that topic in general is just, I can't think of another word except like heavy. That's such a heavy topic.
Yes, it is.
Well, fascinating, though. I don't know what it is about more than any other war, or
how did it happen? Racism against the Jewish population in Europe. I mean, Hitler just stirred everybody up, man.
Which, like you said, is sadly kind of similar to some of the stuff that's going on right now, even in this country. Maybe not to that extreme, obviously, but
right.
With a topic like that, Ken Burns is gonna knock it out of the park. Not to use a baseball analogy, but it's going to be very well done. It's going to be top notch, and like you said, it's super fascinating. I would be very interested in watching that. I feel like you almost have to be in the right frame of mind to watch it, because man, like I said,
or how many parts is it?
3 parts, 2 hours. It's a 6-hour series.
6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're not watching that in one sitting. Otherwise, you're going to be as depressed as you've ever been in your life, probably. But, the baseball documentary, I actually met him. He came to ESPN's campus a while back, and they did a viewing of it for there was only 40 of us. And then he sat and had a Q&A with everyone, and, it was very intimate or whatever. He super nice guy. Have you know the Ken Burns effect, Jared, when you edit video and you take photos and you go
zoom in on it. Yeah.
In, then out. Oh, that's the Ken
I hear
Burns
that all
effect.
the time. I guess I didn't know that's kind of funny that's his effect.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I've always heard that phrase, but I always forget it after somebody tells it to me. But yeah, so
all his docs have the same narrator, Peter Coyote.
Yeah.
It's a
I heard he's kind of a legend,
and the music that they put into it also legendary. What I really got hooked in was the Civil War doc, which was
I heard that's his best doc.
Yeah. It's hard to believe, but I mean, that's the definitive history, I think, of the Civil War. So if you get a chance, man, just start knocking out some Ken Burns documentaries. You can't go wrong.
You know how you said let's bring it full circle. How you said you learn from watching stuff. I mean, that's your spitting poetry right now with these Ken Burns documentaries. I might need to go to TV school and watch every single one of them.
There you go. Well,
a lot of his things are PBS, but where are they on Netflix, or where do you find them?
I think you can actually get them online on PBS. I don't think you have to subscribe. I think you can get them there. Yeah.
Because
and I do it the old school way. I scan the dial and say, oh, that looks interesting, and I just record it.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I came across one. I mean, you guys will be out on this, I'm sure, but it piqued my interest. My wife also is a Wizard of Oz fan. So there was an American Experience documentary on PBS about the life of author L. Frank Baum, who wrote the book, The Wizard of Oz. And
why does this movie never stop having like spin-offs and stories and documentaries? And what is it about it? It always it scared me when I was a kid, to be honest. Yeah. But it's just off-putting. It's
a piece of history. It's a piece of history. You know, when they made it in 1939, it was probably the best movie that year, other than Gone with the Wind, that blew everybody away. But what made The Wizard of Oz such a pop culture thing? In 1953, for the first time ever, it was played on television, and CBS bought the rights to it. And think about this, guys. There was like 3 or 4 channels when I was a kid growing up. CBS owned the rights to The Wizard of Oz. Every springtime, it would come on once a year. You got a chance to see The Wizard of Oz, and it was must see TV. I mean, it really was. Ask your dad and mom, God. Matt. I mean, I'm not kidding you. When The Wizard of Oz came on, it was gather the kids in front of the TV. You know,
it's so crazy to think about how different it is now. And then, that was a while ago now. It's not like one of those like that was just yesterday. No, that's been a while ago now. But to think like what? So you probably had you saw that it was airing in the paper. So everyone would probably, and I'm not trying to make
commercials. No commercials. There'd be a commercial on TV saying, "Hey, tune in Sunday night to The Wizard of Oz."
I tell you what, it is no surprise those guys were lining up to go to World War II, man, to fight the Nazis. With that, like, no wonder there's no that it might have been worse at home in your world, where on Sunday prime time, your whole family would gather around the whole country and watch that horrendous movie.
No, you really think that's a horrendous movie? Seriously, when you look at the whole way it's laid out.
Listen, for the time period, it's awesome. But for me, watching it in 2005 when I'm 7 years old and there's who knows what on TV, like what it just is always blown my mind. I can appreciate it, but it's overkill. It's a solid flick, but like there's a documentary about this thing every year that you tune into. So I mean, I would love to know how many there's been over the years, just pieces of, there's more history written about this than maybe all of World War II.
Yeah.
It's probably everything Ted said. It's just like, if you made that movie nowadays, it probably would be laughable, but it's the historical part of it too.
Yeah.
That, especially that generation, that's like their favorite movie. I mean, I remember watching it as a kid and I liked it. There definitely were some kind of scary parts, as a kid when you're watching it, but
the Wicked Witch,
was scary, right?
That's the scariest character ever, I think, in a movie.
Wasn't it one of the first movies ever, like
in color?
Was it Gone with the Wind that it was in color?
I think so. Yeah.
It started out in black and white when they were in Kansas. The old Dust Bowl, the tornado, and then she shows up to Oz and it's color.
That was one thing I did learn in college, so that's awesome. Like media history class. Yeah. No. So those are your 2 big wrecks of the week. I mean, I tell you what, you had a good, solid segment this week.
I got one more because I told you I was going to give you a classic film pick of the week. Okay.
So that wasn't Wizard of Oz.
All right.
No. But the film pick of the week. This is called Cool Hand Luke. Have you heard of that one?
Oh yeah.
Paul Newman in his prime. It was a prison movie. And I'm just saying, Jared, I don't know. Do you ever watch older movies and get an appreciation for them, the way they're put together, the acting, the writing?
Oldest movie I've watched that I probably said that was a good flick. Mm-hmm. Well, obviously, The Godfather. Those almost don't count. I mean, the star power, the writing, it's like a period piece. It's perfect.
Holds up.
Yes. But I would say outside of that, like, I don't remember when this movie came out. Maybe it's even older than The Godfather. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Honestly, a solid flick. Watched it maybe 3-4 years ago with my pops on a bored night.
Great flick.
It's good because of Nicholson. I mean, him at that point in his career, one of the all-time greats, man, a legend. But that's one I will say I appreciate. That's a good flick.
Okay. I didn't know if you liked any of them that are considered classics from the day, but Cool Hand Luke, made in 1967. If you do ever come across it, I'm going to give you a recommendation. You won't go wrong. I mean, it's a little dated, but very, very well done. I thought the acting was great. And Paul Newman, he's one of the great actors of all time. He carried that film, and he was in his prime. So,
Matt, did you ever watch the movies like that, like Wizard of Oz? Was that something you guys watched, or is that just my?
Yeah, because my dad was. Yeah, my dad was really big into movies, so we would watch some of those, kind of older movies. Like he would record them on VHS or whatever, and then we would watch them back. Not a ton though. Like he was big in Clint Eastwood, so I feel like he had like every Clint Eastwood movie. Obviously, we watched like all the Rocky movies, and I'm trying to think some old, like Never Ending Story was a big one that was really creepy.
So did he have the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns, or more like Dirty Harry?
All of them. I'm pretty sure he had all of them. I mean, we as kids, we probably didn't watch all of them,
Right.
But yeah, he was a big Clint Eastwood guy. So I do remember those being on sometimes, but not necessarily like all the Paul Newman ones or all like John Wayne movies or all of Alfred Hitchcock's movies. We weren't watching like those kind of ones. I did end up watching some of those in college, but I can see an appreciation for them. But I'm going to be honest, I appreciate your recommendation for Cool Hand Luke. I'm probably not going to spend 2 hours watching it. Because I know I probably would not be that interested in it.
But no, I probably.
That's okay, because we're the three generations. So, I also throw these things out there for some of the elderly that do listen to our podcast that are my age group.
Last thing, maybe before we wrap.
Yeah.
What would you say a classic movie is? Like, you got to set, I think now that this is a recurring segment and you have a classic movie every week, I think we need to establish like how new can a movie be before it's not classic anymore? Where's your cutoff?
Yeah, because I was going to say, because what's kind of crazy to me now is like some of the music that I grew up with is now on classic rock radio stations.
Right.
So yeah, like where does a classic movie fall? Like, because you could almost say late 80s, early 90s movies being 30 plus years old now. Is that a classic? Or are you saying
let's break it down then a little bit here. Because, I would say a movie like, since he's been in the news lately, Michael J. Fox, Back to the Future. I mean, that's a classic movie, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and those are three of my favorite movies ever. I love that trilogy, and yeah, I would say they're classics now because they're 30 plus years old.
Right. Now, I guess I will say, was the intention of the segment to be just a throwback movie? Like it could even be whatever, Dark Knight in 2008, or was it okay? So I was to say, do we want to narrow? I don't know if I need to hear Cool Hand Luke reviews every week. So I think maybe for a family,
look, if you want to do the work and throw something out, feel free. I don't care.
I mean, we could always all come to the table with one, because I would say a movie like Jaws that would definitely be in the classic realm. Say so. I think the Rocky movies would probably fall. The older Rocky movies would fall into that.
Well, why don't you? We're all three different generations, right? Cool Hand Luke, or maybe like I would go like to 72 is The Godfather. I would look myself somewhere in the 70s and maybe 60s is where I would look most of the time. I mean, one of the all-time classic movies, I'm sure neither one of you guys would ever have any thoughts to watch, but probably been rated the greatest movie ever made, Citizen Kane.
Yeah.
Right? But
I watched that. I did watch that in college. That was the one that we watched. And again, it was one of those, I can see the value in it. I can see why it is considered maybe the best movie ever. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I'm probably never going to watch it again. I'm not going to, on my own, spend 2 hours watching it. I did see it. I appreciate it for what it was. But now for me, say the Back to the Future movies or some of the movies in the late 80s, early 90s that maybe like were nostalgic for me as a kid, I will definitely rewatch those.
Okay.
But, to go back and,
so you have no interest in going into history and watching these movies, right?
No, yes, it depends.
1980, man. Even like a Rocky, I don't really feel any need to go back and watch Rocky, and that was in the 80s, right? Early 80s,
76.
Oh, yeah. So I would say that's maybe like once you get to 1980 and above, that's that's probably the latest I would ever go back to watch anything. I don't care how good it is,
except for Godfather.
Yeah, those are I don't know. They truly there's a reason they're remembered as maybe the best ever. And
timeless.
I probably would be surprised with some of those older movies like Cool and Luke.
Are you a Star Wars guy?
I like Star. Yeah, I don't love the originals. They have to be retouched. I can't watch when the saber's like off of their broomstick in the original and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, one other one I'll just throw out. It just popped in my mind, kind of along the line since Lucas was involved. American Graffiti. Have you seen that one?
No.
Okay, I would
Bits
put that
pieces,
in the
not the whole thing.
Classic movie for sure. Gives you the kind of the nostalgia of what it was like in the late 50s, early 60s, whenever it took place. Really well done. Great music soundtrack. American Graffiti is definitely up on the list. And again, that was made in, I don't know, mid 70s. So
yeah, I mean, it's been the ultimate upset that I like baseball now and I watch it a lot. So crazier things have happened is what I'm saying. So,
yeah.
Maybe that's one thing is when I know I'm getting old, I'll like baseball now. Now I'll start watching these Ken Burns documentaries.
Good.
I mean, you got to watch Field of Dreams. You've got to watch
Field of Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Check it out. Well, I'm just watching again, The Natural. So
it's a good one.
It is a good one. Redford was good in that. All right. Well, I think we've had a good entertainment segment.
Yeah.
More homework for you guys now. You come to the table with your classic pick of the week from your era.
Yeah.
Little challenge.
Sounds good.
All right.
Pull that off. It's crazy. I just looked up. Jaws came out in 1975. That's crazy.
Right.
I love that movie.
Oh, it was awesome. That was one of Spielberg's early ones too, wasn't it? That's what helped make his name. Yeah, absolutely.